So, welcome back to the Incredible Conversations podcast. Today, I am doing a live Zoom, live Instagram of the pod. And if it works, it works. I'm really excited to try this out. And today's episode is going to be all about the Sagittarius new moon that we have on November 23rd at 2:57 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 5:57 p.m. EST. So just depending on where you are, it can change. And a new moon, what is that? A new moon is when the sun and moon are next to each other on in the sky. And our new moon will be at 1 degrees of Sagittarius. I am going to record screen share. Can I screen share? Yeah, I can. Wow, we're technical today. We're getting it. Nice. So with a new moon, what's the difference between a new and a full? A new moon is when we go inwards and we get clear on what direction in life we're going in. What is coming up for us in this moment, this present time, and how can we allow it to be fully expressed versus repressed? What can we set our intentions on, which a practice I've been doing since I've gotten back from Greece is to be completely intentional at the start of every day. So I wake up, what am I thinking about in those hours where I'm going in between this alpha brain state to the waking state? And what am I setting myself up for? I believe that we can really find the answers we've been seeking upon stillness, upon that internal inquiry, basically. And it's not going to be instant. It's not about getting those answers as quick as possible. It's all about allowing ourselves to be in stillness, listen to our connection, our intuition, excuse me, and to make sure that we are a clear channel in the first place to receive the answers. Because if we're trying to force, if we're trying to compile, if we're trying to zoom through life, well, that's forcing. That's not natural. That is making ourselves tired and overwhelmed and exhausted, perhaps anxious. And that's not what we want. That's not what we're trying to achieve because in life, if we get into this rhythm of always pushing, forcing, going quickly into the night, and we're not allowing that natural balance of scheduling, organizing, rest, recovery, wow, we are going to get burned out. We are going to be so discombobulated, and it's not going to be as fruitful as when we do incorporate rest and recovery. It's just like in a workout. If you have time to do a workout, you have time to stretch after the workout. And if you don't have time to stretch after the workout, well, honey, I don't believe you deserve that workout in the first place. No, that's a weird way to put it. But what my emphasis is on is give yourself the time to recover, rejuvenate, and become excited about what's coming forward. Before we dive into this chart for the 23rd, I do want to set the space by having us jump into a meditation. I am going to take a sip of my matcha. While it's hot, I have this really silly habit of making food or a drink, and then I don't drink it or eat it until it's cold. So I'm trying to enjoy that present moment so much more. Delightful. If you hear the barking of two border collies, well, that's life. You guys know this. I really don't edit the podcast until I have someone super duper come into my orb who is like, yes, I can edit your podcast for you. We are doing our best as a one woman team. You can call us a 3-person team with the Zen and Elmer, but they don't really do much. They're getting paid too much to just sit around and be cute. Right, bubbies? So I invite you to get comfortable in your seat, wherever you are, whatever that looks like. Take a sip of water. Maybe you want to stand. Maybe you want to lay down, knees bent. We're going to go into a little meditation to ground us, to prepare us for this wisdom full podcast slash Instagram live. and we'll get rolling. So let's set the energy. Once you are in a position that is comfortable, if you are driving or you are somewhere existing in the world, please just bring your attention, your awareness to the words. Pay attention to where you're going, but allow this to just energetically settle you and align you. If you are able to participate physically, I invite you to close the eyes if you find it safe to do so. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Allow yourself to grow upwards out of the roots of the spine or the tailbone. And allow the breath to come into the body through the nose. Expand the ribs out, expand the belly out wide. I want you to feel like you're a nice big pumpkin ready to be made into pumpkin pie. When you're ready, exhale out of the nose as well. And allow yourself to compress the belly button towards the spine. As you settle into this energy, count your breaths. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the inhale, and go 1 second longer for the exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And something that I want you to imagine is the color of your identity in this moment. Often for me, I imagine gold or a yellow or some sort of orange. However, I've been feeling like there's hues of pinks and reds and even some blues that come into that mix. And allow this color to come over your entire body. Allow it to glow and emit as it comes over the head and the eyes. You completely relax. You let go of holding the muscles. It goes over the shoulders, the chest, the stomach, the rib cage, the back. And you relax deeper and deeper into whatever intention you wish to set for your day moving forward. It goes down each arm slowly over the biceps, the ulna, the hand, the fingertips, and you completely relax. As you breathe deeper and longer with your inhales and exhales, moving slowly at your own pace, allowing this color to emit past the hips, over the pelvic region, the thighs, going over the kneecaps, around the back of the legs, the back of the knees, and down over the calves and the shins to the ankles and over the feet until that color is going down into the ground, anchoring you deeper and deeper with the natural world all around you. Imagine the dirt, the worms, the minerals, the gems, the rocks that you're moving past with this color as you head to the center of the universe, to that lava, the magma, the warm, ooey gooey, ever flowing matter. And allow yourself to set your intention and allow that tension to be a prayer for the rest of those on this planet, whether human or insect or mammal, plant, whatever it is. And understand that every answer that you're looking for, it comes rejuvenated back from the earth. That every time you release, you let go, you surrender, and you eliminate from your own energetic field, your own body, you are allowing that to be decomposed or composted, excuse me. So it can decompose and it can be rejuvenated and reutilized in a new, more powerful, energetic, lively way that is useful. That's full of new knowledge because it's been given back and now it can come back tenfold. Without a timeline for this to happen, simply being okay with letting what needs to die die and witnessing the common denominator in life is change. It's inevitably change. And if we can zoom out to that bigger picture, well, then we can come back to our senses. We can come back to our bodies. We can come back to the present moment and realize whatever has been repressed or resisted must be felt fully so that we do not carry it like an illness, just lingering and lingering. That feeling is not a great one. So when we take care of it in that moment, we speak, we communicate, we say our truth, we say our piece, then it passes by and we get to carry on with a more aligned and present way of being. Take a few more inhales and exhales. Feeling yourself completely grounded and okay with where you are in this moment, with your intention. And when you're ready, you can stay here for however long you wish, but when you're ready, you can begin to bat open the eyes if you did close them and come back to the here and the now. So thank you for following me in that meditation. And we are going to continue on with this live reading, this Instagram, all of the things. And the puppies, they are here, full force, full energy. They love it. They're enjoying themselves. So the first thing that I want to point out about this time is that we have our mindset, what we value, our emotions, and how we identify ourselves, how we come off to other people, acting as one. And when we have this compound energy acting as one, we really want to look to the sign in the house that it's in. And so the house is going to be different all over the place in the universe, depending on where you are in the world. But the sign it's in is Sagittarius. So the Sagittarian qualities are being the wisdom keepers and being the ones who are not defined or restricted or held back by other people. They're very blunt, they're very direct. It's a time where we really have access to connection with whatever we have faith in, whether that's a certain god or angels or spirits, whatever the case. Anything that is supernatural or of the ethereal world is much more easier to connect with. And so meditation is a great practice, as well as being able to detach from emotions and look from a bigger perspective. When we can look from a bigger perspective, it can shine light on areas that we weren't able to see because we were so, I don't know what they're called, but when the horses have the blinders on, they can only see forward. And we're tunnel vision. We're right here and there's not a lot more coming through. So, how can we keep our mindset open, allow it to process how it needs without being too narrow focused, as well as taking the time to make sure that we have thoughts that are in alignment with what we value and how we're moving forward with that value. And if our emotional body is being a catalyst of change for our values and thus our mindset. Because right now we're going through a huge identity shift. I'm not sure about y'all, but on the last day of Scorpio season, the 20th, we had 20th, 21st, we had double Scorpio energy one last time after all of the crazy eclipse energy, which you can go back and listen to if you didn't catch those on the podcast. And wow, yesterday, I'm not sure about you, but I was overwhelmed. I was anxious. My mind was spinning. I was spiraling out of control. And it took me removing myself from my device and my laptop because I was working on, really, I wasn't working on anything because I kept getting blocked by my own self sabotaging habits, which is something I'm releasing and letting go of. And I decided to pull myself out, go outside with my journal, with the dogs, and relax. Give myself that space, that calm, that energy. And once I did that, I felt back into alignment. I felt peace. I felt at ease. And so if you have been feeling like there's a lot of change happening in your world, like relationships have been rocky, like you've been having all these new better ideas come into your spirit, you've been wanting to act on them and implement them, and so you've been throwing everything at the wall, throwing it into the wind, yet it feels chaotic and peculiar and a little wild and like what am I actually doing here? Well, that can be resolved by slowing down, by taking the time to ask, why am I doing this? What's the long game here? And am I gaining anything in this moment by feeling how I'm feeling? Our feelings are a huge indicator of how we move forward. If you're spiraling and you're anxious or you're feeling like you're not sure how to move forward in your day with your activities or your time, well, take a nap or meditate. That's a really great way to reset your body, to reset your mind. And if you can meditate before taking a nap, if you want to combine the two, if you have 20 minutes to spare to reset instead of continuing to feel like you're not getting anything done or achieving anything, then you're going to wake up in a better state. Because how many times have you been in a bad mood, went to bed, and then woke up in that same mood? Well, that's going to happen however your emotional body is. If you're happy, you'll wake up happy. If you're full of gratitude, you'll wake up with gratitude. If you're anxious, you'll wake up with anxiety because you did not clear the slate. You did not clear your mind. You did not clear the plate in front of you. It's like you had dinner and then you went to bed with the leftovers and then it got all hard and like caked on the plate. And then you went to make breakfast the next day and you put your food on the same plate over the leftovers. Ew, that's not as appetizing and it's not very delicious. It's not satisfying. That makes me squirm just thinking about that entire situation. So, I highly recommend that we take care of what's in front of us by setting ourselves up for how we want to feel. So, meditate, get still, clear the mind, release everything that's aggravating, and then come back to whether you want to take a nap or not. Because once you're in alignment, then you can go forth and take action because it's going to feel better and you're going to attract the outcome you want. Whereas before, when you're acting out of this flighty state, you're going to attract flighty answers, flighty opportunities, flighty responses. Capiche? Caposh. This is a time to really welcome in balance of slowing down, especially when it comes to, man, how we're appreciating our work how we're giving to our families, how we're communicating with our friends, how we are connecting in a way that is deeper than just the surface, but it's still going to get us somewhere down the road, as if we're preparing ourselves for the long game. We're surrounding ourselves with people and opportunities that are not for the current present dopamine hit, which is where we can get away from this present living and think bigger picture. Because if we can think, oh, this person really gives me energy, they love me, they're checking on me, we communicate equally, we show up for each other, we support each other, it's authentic, it's natural, like it feels really wholesome and nourishing. That's what we want. We want to keep that running. Yet, if we are meeting ourselves in a place where we feel like we're getting a little drained or like we're just there as a time slot holder, that we're only relevant when it's relevant to the other person or the job, then, well, it might not be a good fit. And there is a lack of communication that needs to be had to clear up the smudginess, the restricted, the tightness. And then we have this really fun energy with Neptune and Jupiter. So we have actually, right after the new moon, we have the planet of Jupiter, which is the ruler of Sag season, which is a really great combo. It wants to bring expansion and growth and abundance, and it acts as a like a balloon, like a big balloon ride. It picks us up, it takes us up, it shows us how beautiful everything is, and it really settles us on where we're headed. And because Jupiter is the ruler of Sag, this is yummy. And because Jupiter was also a ruled by Pisces or like Neptune energy, it's extra yummy. And so having this mixture of reality with the mystical side of life, it's allowing us to see between the lines that not everything has to always make sense how it does on earth. You have a parent, and that parent loves you forever, and they give you everything, and they are going to be there for the rest of your life. No, like that just isn't the case for everyone. And we can also see, all right, well, what lessons can I take? And what magic can I create out of this maybe disturbing period of life or this disturbing situation that has unfolded for me? Because it's not always just peachy keen, but if we keep adding to the fire of feeling X, Y, and Z our whole lives, like it's not going to evolve. But if we can transmute it, find that silver lining, then we can go in that hot air balloon and we can fly around and we can see it from a brand new POV. The biggest thing that we could honor is that we are so unique and so vastly different than the next person, than our siblings, than who we were a month ago. And it's not about going back to who you were. It's about analyzing what you've learned from being the various types of yous you've been in this lifetime, from 7 year old to 12-year old to 14-year old to 16 to 18 to 20 to 30 to 40, so forth and so on. And picking the theme out, picking out who you were from that experience and asking, how did it help me grow? And how can I, like, what can I take from then and apply it to now to move forward to continue to expand into what I want to be? Because although we might be really looking for the answers to our questions, it's not about getting them in the here and now. It's more so about sorting through the rubbish. Okay, I have these issues with relationships, with friendships, with connecting, with genuinely showing up, with being the one to invite the people to the places or to be on the podcast or to hang out. And when I'm not doing that, how can I expect for that to be reciprocated or given back to me? Whatever we say, we do, we think, like that's going to be given back to us tenfold. So if I think that I'm not a good friend or it's hard for me to make connections, well, hello, blockage within me. That's going to be really distracting and really conflicting with where we want to go. So we have to understand, hey, what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, how I show this to the world, what actions I take for this to actually come to fruition, it all very much matters. And that's where the small details come in to expand this bigger picture of what we want and where we're going. We also have across the board from us, it's not in any kind of alignment with our new moon here, but we have Mars in retrograde in Gemini, which is Mercury. Well, Mars going backwards in time, think about it. It's like you have a waistband on. It's like you have a band around your waist and someone's holding it back, someone really strong and way bigger than you, and you're trying to haul ass forward and you're not going anywhere because you cannot pull that force. One, you just might not be ready to pull it yet. You might not be strong enough yet. It might literally be a stationary object, and you're just going to get whiplashed back and forth and exhausted each time you try to get up and bull through this all over again. So instead, we slow down. We honor our process. We get right in our financial space, in our material space, in our basic sensation space. Like, what makes me feel good? What kind of friends do I want to have? What kind of relationship do I want to have? What kind of opportunities do I want to have? How do I want to dress? What kind of meals do I want to make? How do I want to have fun? How do I want to play? How can I emphasize the time I want to spend in the ways that are going to allow me to become that new identity that I'm aiming for? And instead of getting lost in the extraterrestrial sauce, we ground down. So we sit for a little bit longer. We get right with ourselves. And this can even feel really hairy and weird and funny because there's this wound within us, perhaps, that we're not comfortable with who we are. And we might not feel like we deserve where we're going or we deserve what we want, which can be a very difficult scenario. So this is always coming back to us. Always, always, always. Yet, as much as it's always coming back to us, I really think that Sagittarius season, which is, the philosopher, traveler, cultural experience, just needing more, I believe that if we feel this urge to travel, or that if we happen to be traveling now until the 21st of December, why are you traveling there? What is your connection? What is it rooting you back down into? Are there things that you can rediscover about yourself based on that place? Maybe you've never been there and you're about to find out things from past lives or have some recollection of what has gone on for you in the past. Perhaps you go somewhere you're familiar, like your old home or a parent's home. How did you act as a child? What did you believe in? How do you believe now? What kind of father wound might you have? And if there is a father wound, how do you want to show up for yourself? How do you want to give yourself that masculine energy? Where could you be more disciplined in your integrity, in your discernment? about life in general. That's all very much Sagittarius energy going on. So, as a recap for all of this, really quick, can we right now set the intention of how we want to evolve in our own identity when it comes to our values and our mind? How can we take actions that are based off of how we feel, our sensations, our pleasure, and how can we rewire our brains so that we can actually think that way? An example would be I want to dress as a mountain town hippie indie girl. What does that look like to me? Well, it looks like this certain dress or these pair of boots or having colorful tops, or maybe I wear certain types of shirts. Maybe I wear a loose fit. Maybe I wear baggy fit. Maybe I wear ripped jeans. Like very basic example, but how would doing all that make me feel? And then I would get into the feeling of it. Well, it would make me feel like I was cute, yet maybe sophisticated. It would make me feel like I was embodying, embracing how I feel the best in my body, how I feel like I show up to the world in my own authentic way, how I feel cute, how I feel sexy, how I feel appreciated, how I feel grateful. And then when you apply that to yourself, your mindset can go, wow, I feel really good. Wow, when I feel this good, I want to make other people feel good and I want to compliment them or show them how much I love them, or I want to really let them know how much they impacted me by saying X, Y, and Z. Maybe by being in alignment with how you dress, and so your sensations are in alignment because you're literally embracing the clothes you want to wear, you're able to think, I look good. I feel good. My body is so perfect. I don't care because I don't compare. Not that I don't care as in like giving away my power, giving away my energy, but I care because I just feel good exactly how I am and I don't need to change. And if I wanted to, whatever, gain weight or lose weight, then I can do that because I know that I can do it because that's where I'm going. And it's beautiful. And so that's a very tiny material example of how that could show up or happen. And that's going to take time. That although we got a lot of planets in fire, our emotions are still here to guide us and to channel that and to connect with that side of ourselves. And that's where that slowing down comes. I don't want you to change your wardrobe overnight. Maybe don't just go ball out and reconfirm your identity in a matter of moments and then confirm it and then make all these obligations. And then 2 weeks from now, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't actually want to do this. I don't actually feel good like this. This is not who I am. This is just a version of me from the past that I thought I wanted to be. But it's not who I am now. And so it's going to be taking the time to allow yourself to go through these waves of, oh, this would feel good. Revisit it the next day. What still aligns, what doesn't. Oh, the next day. And do that for the next 2 weeks until that full moon in Gemini, until we can really deeply know, oh, this is it. This is it. I don't need to commit to anything beforehand. I get to take it easy. I get to have fun. I get to play. By God, I get to play and enjoy myself instead of being shackled by this electric feeling, this rebellious feeling inside of me that has just been squashed and repressed in this box that's just like just about to burst out and unleash its wrath all over the place. We're going to just take out a little bit of that at a time so that we can adjust to the change, to the growth as we need. Hmm. And on top of that, it's taking responsibility for everything we feel, for everything that is close to home. Something that I would like to share that is an example from my own personal life is I got very humbled with a recent job opportunity, and it wasn't even supposed to happen. However, it was at a ski resort in a salary position, all of these things. But I had not skied at a ski resort in about 3 years consistently. I haven't had a pass since I worked at Vail in 2019, in which that year I really didn't spend a lot of time teaching or on snow because of the relationship breakup I was going through and just taking myself out of that space. And so, you really learn that you're not the same person you were 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and that it's okay to admit that maybe you talked yourself up. Maybe you thought that you were going to show up way better. But it's the fact that you're still giving it your all and you're showing up and you're trying, and then you learn the lesson and you release all of your emotion about it. Because y'all know I was hit by my pride in that moment. I was sad. I could not stop crying. I could not stop. I got to the car and I was screaming because I take life so seriously sometimes. And I'm learning to be more playful, to be more jovial and satisfied. And if I'm not satisfied, to reroute. Because if I just sulk and sit in that unsatisfaction, it's not going to take me where I want to go. Yes, I believe on seeing the GPS all the way through, because if you keep trying to change it, you're going to get scatterbrained and lost. And I had found out that I started my GPS, I had finished, got to the place, and it wasn't what I thought or wanted. But I had this weird illusion of what I anticipated it to be. And I got to receive some great feedback. I got to have a position that was the one I was actually applying for as a little part time gig for fun. So, really allowing yourself to witness the deeper answer that comes from those humbling moments, from those deep moments where all you can do is it's those moments where you look up and you're like, God, why? Or universe, why? Why is this happening to me? What is trying to be taught to me right now? How did this even come to fruition? And then you'll get a really funny response. I literally turned our car on. I was screaming, asking all these questions because my life was ending. And then I was like, am I too serious? And then the car started to do this really weird, funny thing where it goes in and out. Like it would be on and then it would kind of turn off and then on and then turn off. And it was running perfectly before this. I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't real. And then it died and it wouldn't turn back on. And then Danny saved the day, came up, started the battery, all the things. Didn't do that afterwards. There was no reason for it to have done that. So you'll get confirmation if you ask for it in really peculiar and funny ways. And I think that's one of the most hilarious parts because it's all a cosmic joke. And this season, we just came from a really deep, heavy season, unpacking, unearthing, letting die what needed to die, destroying things from 2020, 2021 that we had started, had morphed into a shape, and now we don't like it. So we're letting it go. We're letting it free. We're letting it come back into the earth, be rejuvenated, replenished, full of nutrients to come right back up to us, to be brought in a new, healthier, better way. Without force, without a time frame, without any restrictions or limitations either. And that is what I want to say about this new moon. Yep. Whew. Give yourself a few moments of deep breathing. Some journaling prompts for you would be, who am I? And allow yourself to go crazy on this. Write out every single version of you want to be. Maybe collect the ones that make the most sense together and put them in the same little paragraph or bubble. Differentiate them or maybe throw them all in one. And let yourself come back to that and read it for the next 2 weeks without confirming or making a contract with yourself that this is how you will be, but getting a feel for if it's who you want to become and evolve into. Another one would be, can I be okay with change as the common denominator? That no matter what you are or where you are in life, it will always, always change. And lastly, how can I have more fun? How can I play? So important to play and have fun and be a jokester and be hilarious and allow yourself to be as authentic as you possibly can. Be blunt, be direct. Let yourself make people drop their jaws. Give people a run for their money. Show up as you. You're a big old firework. You're being lit up. You get to light up the rest of the people in your corner of the universe. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with a little bit of joy, a little bit of, maybe I indulged in this wine, maybe I drank the whole bottle. Sometimes it's okay to be like that. And that's about 10 to 20% of the time. The 80% of the time, be in your knowing, be in your lane, be in your focus, be in your balance of doing and being. Because we're not human doings, we're human beings. So we know how to move forward when we know how to be with us and take responsibility for the laziness, for the rudeness, for the judgment, for the projecting, whatever it is. And when you can be humbled by your own experiences, by your own actions, beliefs, thoughts, processes, well, I say you're on a good track to evolution, to going where you want to go, shooting for the stars. It's the Sagittarius. They're half man, half horse. They're crazy creatures being out of this world and of this world. And they have their little bow and arrow. You got your dream on the end of those bow and arrows. You pull it back and you let it go. And you believe and you have unwavering trust that you know exactly what to do and that the answers all come from inside of you. So that's the podcast. Thanks for listening. This is an extra treat in the week for y'all because it's going to be the new moon on Wednesday. So enjoy. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. If you feel like this was beneficial, help a girl out. Go rate this on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe. Give a little loving. Leave a review. One woman band here. So the more that I have some help from my friends, the more people will benefit from hearing these words. So thanks. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day and happy holidays.